congratulate Hyundai Motor Company for this laudable initiative to support and promote artistic collaboration and exchanges across countries and art institutions. I also wish to express my heartfelt appreciation and congratulations to our partner institutions, the Cheongju Craft Biennale of Korea, the National Craft Museum of India, and Whitewood Art Gallery of the UK for coming together for this important exhibition. I also thank the artists from India and Korea who have shared their valuable artworks for this exhibition. I extend my greetings to all visitors present here today. I'm confident that you will have a memorable experience and gain a deeper insight into the cultures, histories, and stories we presented in this exhibition. My sincere thanks also go to everyone who has worked tirelessly behind the scenes to prepare for this exhibition. The exhibition, Entangled and Woven, celebrates the deep interconnectedness of craft traditions from Korea to India and beyond. It shows how the histories, skills, and ways of life of different societies meet, interact, and create new meanings. Through crafts and textiles, this exhibition beautifully demonstrates how tradition, collective memory, and contemporary interpretation can coexist and enrich one another. Korea and India both have a very long, rich, and diverse craft traditions, where art is closely connected with the daily life. From India's rich traditions of handlooms, embroidery, to Korea's textile weaving and craft practices, both cultures value skill and creativity. When these traditions come together through platforms like Hyundai Translocal series, they inspire new creativity and deepen cultural understanding between our two countries. In this sense, this exhibition is more than a presentation of artworks. It is a meaningful form of cultural diplomacy that strengthens mutual trust, understanding, and friendship. Since establishing diplomatic relations in 1973, Korea and India have built a strong, special strategic partnership with cooperation expanding across political, economic, and cultural sphere. Among these, cultural and artistic exchanges have played a particularly important role in bringing our peoples closer together. I sincerely hope this exhibition will lead to even deeper cultural exchange, sustained collaboration, and further strengthen the friendship and shared prosperity between Korea and India. I wish the exhibition every success. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Excellency, Mr. Lee, Madam Lee, the entire team from Korea, Hyundai team, and of course, my India team from the Crafts Museum. We are very delighted to have all these designers and artisans who have collaborated to put up this beautiful show. And I'm sure that the richness of the craft, and I always underline, it's the science of craft, which we are not documenting. The aesthetics comes out very beautifully to us, but the science behind these crafts is so old and so traditional, yet so rich, which needs to be documented and which needs to be highlighted. And I'm sure that everybody who's visiting this exhibition will be enriched by that learning. And we are very happy to be part of this tri-series. And I wish the exhibition all the success.
It is an honor to celebrate the opening of Hyundai Translocal series, Entangled and Woman, here today. I am Doon Choi, Art Director at Hyundai Motor Company, and I am delighted to mark this significant moment at National Craft Museum and Haskula Academy. This exhibition was developed through curatorial research between the Cheongju Craft Biennale 2025 and the Whitworth, the University of Manchester, and further enriched by a collaboration with National Craft Museum and Haskala Academy. Hyundai Translocal Series, a new initiative by Hyundai Motor, is about fostering artistic collaborations that create new dialogues across global institutions, artists, and their communities. The exhibition is part of the broader translocal exchange beginning in Cheongju, taking new shape here in New Delhi, and continuing to Manchester this July. We extend our deepest gratitude to the 8 artists and collectivists in this exhibition, whose extensive journey explored diverse cultures and textile heritage in a contemporary context. We would like to also to express our sincere appreciation to everyone at National Craft Museum and Haskala Academy, the Cheongju Craft Biennale 2025, and the Whitworth, the University of Manchester, for their dedicated efforts in bringing this meaningful project together. We also hope that this exhibition serves as a bridge to foster enhanced cultural understanding among all participants and visitors. Thank you all for being a part of this important moment and for continuing and contributing to this vibrant exchange. Thank you.
나마스테. 저는 50년간 섬유 작업을 해오고 있는 장연순입니다.
So she has been working on textiles about 50 years.
제 작업은 그 한국의 전통 여성들이 집에서 염색을 하고 풀을 먹이고 다림질하고 재봉을 하는 그런 가사 노동을 저는 이 시대에 태어나서 아트 작업으로 전환하는 것이 저의 일입니다. 그 전통의 여성들이 가지고 있던 그 솜씨는 나의 할머니, 어머니 그리고 나에게까지 전해져 가지고 지금 저는 아트로서 바느질을 하면서 자기 치유 과정을 겪고 있습니다.
She has been focusing on females' domestic labors, mainly about fabrics like embroidery and sewing. Everything can be done in the household. So she thinks that history from her grandmother to her mother and to her is inherited in her artistic practice.
지금 뒤에 보이는 저의 작업은 월인 청강이라는 그 단어를 쓰고 있는데 월인 청강의 뜻은 하나의 달이 여러 개의 강에 비춘다는 그 동양 철학의 비유의 단어입니다. 근데 저는 여기서 어떤 의미를 중요하다고 생각하냐 하면 하나의 달인데 수없이 많은 강에 그 달빛이 비친다는 것은 본질은 하나인데 수없이 많은 현상들이 이렇게 일어나고 있다는 거죠. 그래서 한국에서 델리에서 그리고 영국에서 각 다른 지역에서 일어나고 있지만 사실 우리는 생명이라는 것으로 하나라는 어떤 메시지를 제 작업을 통해서 들려드리고 싶었던 겁니다.
Her title of this new series is called War in Cheonggang, which means one moon reflects on the thousands rivers. So it's based on the Oriental philosophy that is based on Buddhist philosophy. So she thought that idea can reflect this collaboration with India and Korea. So she thought that the moon, the knowledge can be reflected in the various ways, like can be seen in Indian artistic practices, and so as well in Korean artistic practices. So she thought that is really profound for this project for her.
인도에 계시는 여러분들하고 저의 이런 아티스트로서의 그 생각을 함께 나눌 수 있어서 영광이고 감사드립니다. Thank you.
So she really appreciated about through this project she was able to communicate with Indian artists. So she said it's such an honor to her to be part of this project.
Hello, I'm a visual artist. I work in textiles. I also produce performance. I work in sculpture, installation, and many other medium. But textile has been the medium connected to my heart. My work is pretty much about working women in fashion industry, textile industry in Korea between 60s and 80s, who was at the front line of labor movement, the history was actually quite unspoken or forgotten for many, many years. For this work, I made 5 flags, slightly in different contexts, but I still think about history and animals who were excluded as a historical subject in human past history. So the work is about the fictional narrative where the whole world is ruled by 5 species of animals, and the whole world is composed of 5 countries of elephants, owl, penguin, butterfly, and crane. The works are just next to you. I wish that you can come close and have a look at the work while I'm talking about the work. I selected the animals, which has been my interest, and I've been researching on animals. But also I selected the birds, which the subject considered as a sacred, the animals in the past and in different cultural background. And when I thought about 5 nations ruled by the 5 animals, I thought that humans and other thousands and hundreds and thousands of animals I actually belong to those nations, because the animal territories are quite blurred. You know, when you think about crane, for instance, the crane travel from Russia, Mongolia, China, and then Korea and Japan. So there, you know, the territory-wise, it's very blurred, and it becomes very symbiotic. So when the nationalism becomes very extreme in these days, I thought this symbiotic coexistence of animals is something I want to bring into my work. And the number 5 came from Korean obangi. I'm also interested in Korean folklore and Korean shamanism. Obangi is a 5-directional flag, which is related to sacred guardian, which is like east, west, south, north, center. This piece has been very, very special to me because it began when we came here in India last year. We came to Delhi and we traveled to Kochi in Gujarat, which brought lots of inspiration for me. I think that inspiration was so significant in my career and experience as an artist. It will long last. And so that was, although it was very short trip, it was really meaningful. When I was in Kochi, I was able to visit Kala Raksha Museum, where the Mukesh gave us a tour, and we saw a number of beautiful embroidery collection there. The embroidery has been means for the women who express their identity when the freedom of the expression was limited for the women. And then that comment just stayed in my head, and in relation to my own interest in working women in the past, the industry of the textile, I thought I really want to work with the Kala Raksha. So I approached them after I came back to the UK. Amy and I, Mukesh, we met online, and there I proposed my idea, and they agreed. So the collaboration began to happen. I must say there was a very restricted time scale for this project, and then there was a language barrier, and then there was distance. So it was, at the outset, I was wondering whether it's going to be possible. So there was a really risk-taking from my side, but I shared my ideas, and their contribution I proposed was developing animal images by the artisans based on their own imagination and narratives. So I suggest 5 specific animals. I shared the references. I shared my own drawings and my drawings about layouts. But the images of each animals were developed by 11 artisans working with the Kala Raksha. They are coming from 2 specific communities. So if you come closer, the rabari stitch as well as Paco, and patchwork and applique, they were used, and they are long-lasting, very unique technique of the region. We had to rule out like a Zat embroidery, which is really lovely but quite intricate, and then within that time scale was nearly impossible. But when I see this work now, this collaboration happened across, different cultural background and across the different languages and then different ideas about each animal. It is just so special. And when the project was completed, the Mukesh sent the narratives of each flag. The artisans were communicating when they were making, which is, I think, written there as a story of animals or something. And in there, which is really touching, was that the owl flag in particular. The owl they thought of as the symbol of resilience of the women in Kochi, and then resilience of the embroidery, which has lasted in Kochi area. And he also mentioned the crane as something in relation to intercultural, the communication and collaboration, which we did. And then he kind of, and the artisans, thought of the crane as something in relation to our country collaboration. So it has been an amazing opportunity. I really appreciate that the work was possible. I appreciate to the curators as well as Hyundai, as well as the National Craft Museum. Thank you.
Very warm welcome to everyone who's made the time today to come and inspire us and encourage us. Yes, Boito is very, very honored to be part of this project, which is between India, Korea, and Manchester. And the works, so Boito works with artisans from Odisha, and we're a design studio, so we work a lot with artists and designers, and we pull together crafts that may not, that kind of need revival because they're not doing very well in today's day and age, and we want the next generation to take pride in these crafts. And so we work with design translations as to what else can we do with this dying art form so that it reaches a global audience. So the works that you see by Boito here, there are 5 different works. The first work that you see is a lotus. Again, we had this amazing trip organized by Hyundai into Korea to do our research, and we realized that Buddhism is a very big influence in Korea, also in Odisha, because that's where Odisha began as well. And we looked at the lotus flower as the beginning of all Buddhism, because when you see the base of Buddha, there is the lotus that brings him up. And the lotus kind of comes out in a pond without really the need of anything else. It's pretty pure, and it's coming out of nowhere. So that, and it's cyclical. The petals are arranged in cycles. So what it represented to us was a repetition or a cyclical nature of time. So impermanence as a concept, which is pretty widely known in the Buddhist Mahayana. That struck a chord, and therefore the first artwork that you see as soon as you enter is the lotus flower, which was done in tie-dye in Sambalpur district of Odisha. And of course, complemented, there is the Jagannath textile. Jagannath is our hero in Odisha. He's quite the mover and shaker. He does not have hands, or he does not have legs, and he has these big eyes which are able to look at you and are all encompassing and able to help you wherever you are in the universe. And without having hands and legs, he's quite the mover and shaker for Odisha. So there is a connection between the Jagannath. It is a wooden deity. Wooden deities are not common in India. Mostly it's all made of stone to reflect permanence. However, the Jagannath is a wooden deity to reflect impermanence and coming back as a universal truth. So that's the connection between the lotus, Korea, Buddhism, and Jagannath. We had the opportunity of working with Dr. Kim Boyan on a collaborative project where we work with this textile called the kerang, which comes from the bark of a tree that grows locally in Odisha, which resembled very much the Rami silk production, which we witnessed firsthand when we were in this trip in Korea. And so we kind of worked together where Dr. Kim Boyan got the Rami in production and we got the kerang in production. And you'll see two similar textiles right at the beginning. One was done in Rami and one was done in kerang, to kind of show how cross-border collaboration can lead to something so beautiful. We also have a bunch of other art forms, but I'll take your leave at this point. Thank you so much for being with me.